flexible, flexible, flexible. So, let's talk about the word flexible. It is an adjective, which means it describes or modifies a noun or pronoun. In common usage, flexible typically refers to something that can be easily bent, changed, or adapted without breaking or losing its shape. For example, the rubber band was flexible and could stretch to fit around the package. It can also describe someone's personality, like, she is very flexible and can adjust her schedule at short notice. One special note about the usage of this word is that it often contrasts with the idea of being rigid or inflexible. For instance, if someone says he's not flexible in his opinions, it means he's not open to changing them. Whereas, she's very flexible implies a willingness to adapt and be more spontaneous. In a formal setting, such as a job interview, you might say, I believe that my flexible work schedule would be an asset to your company, allowing me to balance my professional and personal responsibilities effectively. This sentence showcases the word's meaning in relation to being able to adjust one's availability or approach. On the other hand, in a casual conversation with a friend who is considering traveling, you might say, I'm flexible this weekend, so we can plan our trip whenever works best for you. Here, the emphasis is on having an open and adaptable attitude towards plans. In a business or academic context, such as in a presentation discussing innovative materials, one might say, our research team has developed a new material that's not only lightweight but also surprisingly flexible, making it ideal for use in space exploration. So you want to learn about this important concept? Well, let me tell you, it's all about being able to adapt and change in different situations. Imagine you're planning a trip and something unexpected happens, like a flight delay. You need to be able to adjust your plans on the spot to make sure everything still runs smoothly. That's what I'm talking about. It means having the ability to easily change or modify things when circumstances change, so you can stay on track and achieve your goals. It's kind of like being a master juggler. You're able to juggle all these different demands and priorities, and still manage to keep everything under control. Some people might also call it adaptable or responsive. But basically, it just means being able to roll with the punches and make the necessary changes when things don't go exactly as planned. Does that make sense? Furthermore, let's talk about the word furthermore. So, furthermore is a conjunction that means in addition to what has already been said, or more specifically, to emphasize something else that supports or adds to the previous point. In terms of part of speech, it's an adverbial conjunction because it connects two clauses and indicates a relationship between them. When using furthermore, you'll often find yourself saying something like, I'm tired today. Furthermore, I didn't get enough sleep last night. The common usage is to add more information or to emphasize the importance of what follows after the word furthermore. A special note about its usage is that it can be easily confused with moreover, which has a similar meaning but with a slightly different connotation. Moreover implies something additional that's even more important than the previous point, whereas furthermore is more like a casual add-on. So, if you're unsure when to use either of these words, just remember that furthermore is like saying, and in addition to that, while moreover is like saying, what's even more interesting is. In a job interview, a candidate says, I have a degree in marketing, which gives me a strong foundation in understanding consumer behavior. Furthermore, my experience working with social media platforms has also allowed me to develop creative strategies for reaching wider audiences. The context is formal and professional, as it's being used in a job interview setting. In contrast, when chatting with friends about a recent travel experience, someone might say, "So we were trying to get to the top of that mountain, but the trail was really hard to navigate. Furthermore, my friend got lost because she took a wrong turn somewhere." The context is casual and conversational, as it's being used in an informal setting with friends. In an academic paper on environmental policy, a researcher might write, "Studies have shown that reducing carbon emissions can have significant economic benefits. Furthermore, our research suggests that these benefits can be amplified through the implementation of green infrastructure initiatives." The context is formal and academic, as it's being used in a written article or report. So you want to know about furthermore? Well, let me break it down for you. Mainly, furthermore is an adverb that shows us that what comes after it adds more information to something we already talked about. It's like saying, "and another thing," or to add to that. In other words, when you use furthermore, you're giving the listener a little extra detail or a related thought that makes sense with what was said before. So, in everyday conversation, it can help connect your ideas and make them sound more logical and natural, like two puzzle pieces fitting together. You might also see similar concepts like additionally or what's more, which do basically the same thing as furthermore. And if you want to get really precise, some people even use words like in particular or specifically to mean almost the same thing. But furthermore is a bit more casual and conversational, making it super handy in everyday chat. Gender. 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 The word gender can be quite nuanced, especially when it comes to understanding its different meanings in various contexts. As a part of speech, gender is primarily a noun, referring to the social and cultural roles, behaviors, and characteristics associated with being male or female. In common usage, people often talk about gender as an abstract concept, discussing how societal expectations and power structures affect individuals, particularly in regards to their sex, which refers to biological differences. What's interesting is that while gender has a specific meaning in the context of social sciences and feminism, it's also commonly used in everyday conversation to refer to personal characteristics or behaviors thought to be typical for one sex, such as men being more assertive or women being more nurturing. This usage can sometimes lead to misunderstandings. In a formal meeting at the university, the dean of students said, "The upcoming conference on social justice will discuss various aspects of gender inequality in education and workplace settings, highlighting the importance of creating an inclusive environment for all students." This sentence uses the word gender in a formal and academic context to convey the topic of discussion. While chatting with friends at a cafe, Sarah mentioned, "I love how the new TV show tackles complex issues like gender identity and representation in media. It's so refreshing to see something different on screen." In this example, the casual conversation usage of gender is used to discuss a popular culture phenomenon and spark a friendly discussion. At a company diversity workshop, the HR representative explained, "Our company strives to create an inclusive workplace by promoting awareness about gender stereotypes in advertising and supporting initiatives that celebrate individuality across all departments." This sentence uses the word gender in a business context to emphasize the Importance of diversity and inclusion in the corporate environment. So, you want to know about this concept that refers to how people are identified and understood based on their physical characteristics, social roles, and cultural expectations? It's really important in many societies because it affects who people marry, how they're treated by others, and even what rights or opportunities they have. The main characteristic is that it helps people figure out if someone should be seen as a man or a woman, but also acknowledges that some people don't fit into these two categories, which is totally okay. This concept has connections with other ideas like sex, which refers to the physical differences between men and women, identity, how people see themselves, and roles, the expectations placed on someone based on their sex or identity. It's not just about biology. It's also about how society treats people, which is why it's so crucial in understanding and respecting individual differences.